Hey guys, it's Skybird here, and today we're taking a look at another creation that I made for the Legend Reborn collaboration that is going on Discord right now. So I will leave a link for that in the description below if you guys want to find out more information. But today we are taking a look at the Titan Keetongu. Um, I decided to make this one mostly because I was never really a huge fan of Keetongu. I'm very grateful for the set because it did come with a lot of pieces in a new color for that time for Bionicle, but just to me, it never really spoke to me as a set on its own. That said, as a small set, I thought it was an interesting type of design to really just kind of try my hand at, something very different, something outside my comfort zone, which, if you guys know me, is something I quite like to do. So for this, I had the restriction of limiting myself to 45 pieces at most, and this is exactly 45 pieces. Technically, what you see here is a couple more pieces. However, the design that I made for it, the mock-up for this on Studio, the program that I use to make these guys after the fact and to render them as well, is exactly 45 pieces. The reason this one isn't is because there's a certain piece that I just can't find in my collection right now. I think I'm using them all. And so because of that, I'm using a different piece, and I'm using two of them instead of one. But for what it's worth, for the sake of argument, it is built the exact same, and it's just 45 pieces. So anyway, let me go ahead and get that rant out of the way. I am really happy with how much I was able to kind of pack into this model at this small size. Now I will go ahead and mention that right now, these can move. Now, in the studio version, they're not. They are stationary. They're fixed at this angle, which again is kind of why I was mentioning that I changed it up, because yeah, I didn't want them to be able to move. Of course, they can't move on the original. However, the head in this case can move just a teeny bit side to side. It is actually attached to the Borak windscreen here, so that's what kind of limits it from moving anymore. So you can get a little bit of that kind of Cyclops movement, but the actual head itself is still fixed on the axle in pretty much the same way as the original set, and it is using the ball joint bit down here. So what I ended up doing on the back here is just attaching a standard Mata style foot in the Keet orange color and using that to kind of anchor the Borak windscreen. That way I got a little bit of yellow on the back, make it feel a little more filled out, but I also got the windscreen up here and had a decent attachment point for it with very few pieces. And it worked out quite well. So one of the things I ended up going ahead and incorporating into this build were these kind of wings here. I don't know exactly what these pieces are called. I mean, they're just add-ons for his armor in the original set, but the way I ended up doing that is just using a standard pin underneath here, a 3-long pin axle in red, and then a red connector, since Keetongu has the red underneath as his launcher. I felt like that was a good way to kind of pay homage back to that. But then just using that piece to connect to one of these triple connectors here. So the idea is that these pieces that are here in gray should be the lever type and not the type that accept an axle. And then these pieces back here are going to actually be just the thinner lift arms. But none of that stuff really matters. The main thing you're really here to see is the model itself. And I think I was able to do a really good job of representing the full build and giving him a really good amount of coverage in a very small amount of pieces. I was unfortunately unable to fit both shields on the set, which is something I wanted to be able to do, but it just wasn't really going to be possible with the parts restriction. That said, the legs here are actually built using the Hero Factory style legs, and an interesting little development of mine that I kind of discovered while making this model actually was that these Mata feet, if you use a lightsaber bar through that hole there, actually fit in just perfectly, and they actually click in into position in 2 different spots as well, so you can kind of get a different angle out of them if you want like a kind of a different look, because they'll click in and lock right here, and then they'll click back in also and lock right there as well, which is just a neat little gimmick all in its own, but something kind of nice to think about and to look at. So you get a really good aesthetic to it, and I think it works out quite well. I do, of course, have to apologize again for the rain, because it is really coming down outside. But yeah, you kind of get the idea of what I was going for here. Aside from that, you also get little lightsaber bars going through these armor pieces and through the arms, and that allows them to attach without having any issues with this piece wanting to kind of move around in there. So overall, that is my build for mini Keetongu Stars, whatever you want to call it. I will, of course, release the studio file for this as well, because I'm sure many people want to try and build it, as long as they don't, break the pieces involved. But yeah, I'm very happy with how it came out. 45 pieces exactly was really hard to hit, but I think I did a really good job of making it look proper. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and tell me by leaving a comment down below. Tell me what you guys would like to see also as a star set. What canister or Titan or vehicle set would you like to see? Because I definitely got a few ideas in mind, but also just want to say, if you enjoy the content, go ahead and like the video and subscribe, because it helps me out a ton, and I will see you guys in the next one. Make sure to check out the description to find out more about this collaboration later.